the African sky darkens, a velvet curtain of storm clouds stretching from horizon to horizon. Thunder rumbles in the distance, a deep, rolling drum that shakes the air and stirs the land below. Lightning bursts like silver arrows, illuminating the savanna in brief, blinding flashes, revealing a landscape poised between drought and renewal. The wind carries the scent of distant rain, a dry and dusty perfume that will soon be replaced by the fresh and intoxicating aroma of wet earth. Slowly, the first drops fall, striking the hardened ground, drumming against the parched grass, bouncing off the leaves of acacia trees. The land drinks eagerly, a thirsty canvas finally touched by the hand of the sky. Small rivulets form, gathering into streams that wind across the plains. In the distance, a river swells, its waters rising in eager response, carrying with them life not yet visible, waiting for the moment of awakening. The elephants, ancient and heavy, lift their massive heads toward the skies, ears spread wide as the drops strike their rough skin. They trumpet, a sound that echoes across the plains, announcing the arrival of the rains. Young calves frolic around their mothers' legs, muddy trunks swinging with joy, eyes bright with a mix of surprise and excitement. The dust that once clung stubbornly to their bodies is washed away, falling in fine clouds as the matriarchs shake themselves with slow, deliberate power. Zebras are the first to dance in the new puddles, their black and white stripes blurring in rhythmic motion as hooves splash through the shallow waters. They lift their muzzles, flaring their nostrils, opening their mouths as if tasting the rain itself. Their movement is contagious, a call to life that spreads to nearby grazing wildebeest and gazelles, who leap and scatter, startled but revitalized by the sudden release from the monotony of the dry season. Above, the birds respond in kind. Hornbills and starlings take flight in unison, wings beating in harmony with the rain. The air becomes a tapestry of movement and sound, the patter of water on the earth, the trumpeting of elephants, the thunder of herd hooves, the cries of birds cutting through the heavy sky. Every sound, every movement, is a note in a symphony composed by nature itself, orchestrated by the cycle of the seasons. In the shadows of the trees, smaller creatures emerge. Frogs croak as puddles form, insects rise in swirling clouds, and lizards dart from the damp ground to bask on newly softened stones. The savanna, once a canvas of waiting, is now alive with movement. Life pulses in every corner, from the tiniest ant to the imposing silhouette of a distant giraffe outlined against the storm. Even the predators, those silent watchers of the plains, pause in anticipation, sensing the abundance the rains will bring, understanding that the rhythms of life and death are intimately tied to this cycle. A flash of lightning illuminates a herd of wildebeest crossing a flooded plain, hooves lifting water in slow-motion arcs, eyes reflecting the stormy sky. A solitary elephant raises its trunk, catching a drop in the air, as if tasting the very essence of renewal. Every leaf, every blade of grass, every creature bears witness to the same miraculous truth. After months of relentless sun, the land breathes again. Welcome to the African savanna in the rainy season, where life is reborn. Here, every drop of rain carries a promise of growth, of movement, of survival, and a reminder that the wild and untamed heart of Africa awakens not only with the sun, but with the storm. As the rains continue to sweep across the savanna, the land itself begins to stir with renewed life. Where the plains once lay cracked and sun-scorched, blades of grass now push eagerly through the soil, rising toward the sky in a delicate green tide. Flowers, seeds, long dormant awaiting this moment, unfurl their petals in bursts of color, yellow acacias, purple orchids, and rare blue water lilies that blanket temporary ponds. The land itself seems to glow with vitality, reflecting sunlight in tiny streams of moisture, a living mosaic of growth and renewal. Panoramic views, reveal a transformation that can only be described as miraculous. Rivers that had shrunk to mere threads swell with silvery currents, winding across the plains and creating new tributaries that feed hidden wetlands. Rainwater collects in depressions, forming ponds and wetlands that gleam like mirrors under the breaking sunlight. These ephemeral lakes are not merely scenic, they are the first sign of life's return, drawing animals that had patiently awaited their moment to drink, bathe, and hunt. In the damp grasses along the water's edge, frogs begin their chorus, filling the air with croaks and trills that celebrate the abundance of the season. Small insects rise in clouds, their iridescent wings shimmering in the sunlight, pollinating flowers and stirring the air with vibrant energy. Dragonflies skim the surface of the puddles, delicate predators hunting smaller prey. Amid this frenzy, small birds flit from branch to branch, shaking off droplets and chirping with an urgency born of relief. Every creature, from the smallest beetle to the cautious mongoose, responds to the rain as if recognizing a call from the earth itself. Time-lapse sequences capture the astonishing speed of growth. Land that was barren, dry, and lifeless yesterday now sways with tall grass, dotted with wildflowers, and edged by the gleaming surface of a pond. Life emerges in every corner. The soil teems with tiny worms that aerate the earth. Seeds germinate in rapid succession, and roots stretch deeper, drinking eagerly from replenished groundwater. The savanna is no longer a dry and unforgiving expanse. It has become a living tapestry of movement, color, and sound. Even the wind carries the scent of change. The damp earth, blooming plants, and fresh water combine into a fragrance both sharp and sweet, signaling to the creatures of the plains that the season of abundance has begun. Predators pause in their patrols, watching the growing grass for signs of prey. Herbivores wander cautiously, enjoying the abundance but alert to the shadows that now conceal both safety and danger. The transformation is not only visual, it is kinetic, a rhythm that pulses through the land, connecting soil, water, plants, and animals in an intricate web of life. From the subtle movement of a frog's leg to the sweeping flight of a flock of starlings, every motion underscores the rebirth of the savanna. As the landscape flourishes, it sets the stage for the creatures that call this place home, for the dramas of survival and renewal that will unfold in the days ahead. The rains have sculpted more than mud and rivers. They have written the prelude to a season of life, inviting every living being to step into abundance and begin its role in the great and endless cycle of the African savanna. Water flows across the African savanna like veins in a living body, carrying life from storm clouds to the parched land below. Small rivulets stream from newly formed currents, carving shallow channels through mud and sand. Ponds swell in once dry and cracked depressions, glistening under the sunlight like temporary lakes that promise sustenance to every creature that calls this land home. The earth drinks deeply, and with each drop, the rhythm of life resumes. Elephants, guardians of the plains, move with deliberate purpose toward the nearest watering hole. Their massive feet sink into the soft, wet mud, leaving deep tracks that will guide smaller animals in search of hydration. Trunks rise and spray, drawing water into thirsty mouths, then casting droplets into the air in jubilant arcs. Calves stumble clumsily in shallow pools, squealing in surprise as their thick skins meet cool water for the first time in months. Hippopotamuses emerge from hidden pools, their enormous bodies breaking the water's surface, eyes and nostrils scanning for any threat. Their grunts and splashes fill the air, a chorus of both joy and territorial warning. Along the banks, crocodiles wait with a patience honed over millennia. Submerged in murky waters, they become nearly invisible, their eyes just above the surface. Every ripple, every movement is measured, an instinctive calculation of opportunity and risk. The presence of these silent predators sends waves of tension through the surrounding wildlife, shaping behavior in subtle but vital ways. Birds gather at the edge, flitting nervously from tree to bush, aware that danger may lurk both below and above. Even insects adjust their trajectories, skimming the water in precise arcs to avoid becoming prey. Watering holes are the great equalizers of the savanna. Lions and hyenas, once hidden in distant grass, approach cautiously, drawn by the promise of prey and the gathering of vulnerable herbivores. Zebras and wildebeest drink with one eye on the horizon, muscles tense, nostrils flared as they sense both life and threat. Muddy pools become theaters of survival, hooves trampling, bodies splashing, and the occasional frantic escape, all choreographed by the demands of thirst and instinct. This convergence of life around water illustrates its singular importance. Without it, the savanna would remain a dry and desolate expanse. With it, life bursts in all directions. Grasses grow thicker along the banks, flowers bloom in sudden bursts, and the chorus of birds, frogs, and insects rises to fill the humid air. The land is no longer silent, it sings with gurgles, splashes, and calls, each note a testament to the vital pulse of hydration. As the rains feed rivers and ponds, herbivores begin to spread outward, emboldened by abundance. Wildebeest move forward cautiously, tails flicking to drive away flies, muzzles grazing on fresh shoots. Impalas leap from one patch to another, eyes alert to both predators and sustenance. The dance of life continues, orchestrated by the simple and indispensable presence of water, the most precious resource of life in the African savanna. The savanna, sated by the rains, is now a sea of green stretching to the horizon. Grass shoots rise with astonishing speed, bending under the weight of morning dew, their tips gleaming like 1,000 tiny jewels. Across this lush expanse, herds of herbivores begin to emerge, drawn by the abundance that only the rainy season can bring. Zebras move in rhythmic patterns, their black and white stripes blurring as they lift their heads in unison, nostrils flared, tails swishing to ward off persistent flies. Wildebeest follow closely, their dark coats gleaming under filtered sunlight, muscles rippling as they move across the soft, wet ground. Antelopes, delicate and alert, bound gracefully between patches of tender shoots, ears turning at every distant sound. Close-ups reveal the intimacy of feeding. Powerful jaws grind fresh grass, teeth tearing fibrous stems with precision. Each bite replenishes energy lost during the dry months, restoring strength for the long journey ahead. Lips curl around blades of grass, tongues wrap to pull up roots, and eyes remain ever watchful, scanning for danger even in moments of indulgence. The herd moves as one, a living organism in constant motion, with patterns that emerge naturally from instinct and shared purpose. Interactions between species dot the landscape with subtle drama. Zebras graze alongside wildebeest, occasionally nudging one another for space. Impalas dart between larger bodies, their delicate forms weaving effortlessly through the grazing masses. Oxpeckers perch on the backs of buffalo and antelope, pecking at insects stirred from the grass, forming alliances that benefit both bird and mammal. Even minor disputes arise. A young wildebeest shoves a zebra foal, a male antelope lowers its head to assert dominance, but these confrontations are fleeting, quickly resolved by instinctive social hierarchies. The rhythm of the plains is almost musical. Hooves strike in soft percussion, tails move like metronomes, and the breeze carries the faint, sweet scent of newly sprouted grass. This abundance, fleeting yet overwhelming, nourishes not only the body, but the very spirit of the savanna. The animals know that this is a time to recover, to grow stronger, and to prepare for what lies ahead. As the rainy days continue, movement begins to shift from scattered grazing to purposeful travel. Herds stretch and compress, slowly merging into larger formations. Trails emerge in the wet earth, tracing the routes animals have followed for generations. Signals pass silently through body language, ear flicks, and tail movements, coordinating travel with subtle precision. What began as individual herds feeding in isolation now becomes the prelude to something far greater, the legendary migrations guided by instinct, hunger, and the rhythm of the seasons. The savanna hums with anticipation. Energy is restored, bonds are strengthened, and the stage is set. Soon, the plains will tremble beneath the synchronized hooves of countless animals, each one a vital note in the symphony of life renewed by the rains. The rains have revitalized the plains, and with abundance comes opportunity. From the tall grasses emerge the true shadows of the savanna: lions, cheetahs, and leopards, predators perfected by seasons of survival, awakening to life. Lionesses stretch languidly, muscles rippling beneath tawny coats, eyes narrowing as they observe the vast herds of zebras and wildebeest. Their cubs, too young to hunt, tumble clumsily through the damp grass, claws scraping the soft earth, paws propelling them in bursts of practice. Even in play, these cubs learn the fundamentals of speed, timing, and coordination that will one day ensure their survival. Cheetahs crouch low along the edge of a thicket, their spotted bodies pressed against the ground. Every muscle tense, every sense alert. They watch the grazing herds as if reading a living map of opportunities. The movement of a tail, the slight twitch of an ear, signals a possible route of attack. Predators like these do not simply hunt. They calculate, anticipate, and respect the instinctive wisdom of their prey. Leopards, solitary and silent, move through the shadows of acacia trees, their coats blending perfectly with the dappled sunlight. Eyes gleaming, whiskers taut, they traverse fallen branches and damp undergrowth, each step deliberate, each pause a study of the life around them. Unlike lions, whose power lies in cooperation, or cheetahs, whose speed defines them, the leopard's strength lies in patience, invisibility, and precision. The first hunts begin subtly. A lone impala ventures too close to a concealed lioness. Muscles tighten, the air seems to freeze for a heartbeat, and then chaos erupts. The lioness charges, hooves fling mud into the air, dust and water mixing in the explosion of adrenaline. The impala darts and twists, a desperate blur of instinct and fear. Behind the scene, other members of the pride spread out, watching, ready to intervene if necessary. Each chase, each narrow escape, is a study in life and death, a testament to the balance between predator and prey. Cheetahs take a different approach. The cubs sprint across the open plains, refining their acceleration and agility, while the adults wait near the tall grass, prepared for bursts of speed measured in fractions of a second. A flash of movement, a directed run, and a young Thompson's gazelle is momentarily caught in the predator's shadow before leaping to safety. Even failure is a lesson, refining techniques, sharpening reflexes, and reinforcing the unspoken rules of the hunt. The savanna vibrates with tension. Each predator senses the resurgence of life. Each herbivore senses the latent threat in the grasses. Movement becomes strategy, grazing becomes vigilance, and the rains, though a gift of renewal, also awaken the ancient rhythms of survival. Here, in this damp and vibrant land, the first whispers of conflict echo across the plains, hinting at the countless confrontations that will unfold in the days ahead. Predators have awakened once again, their instincts sharpened by hunger and opportunity. Soon, the full interplay of pursuit and evasion will sweep across the landscape, weaving the eternal dance of life and death that defines the African savanna. The rains have filled the plains, and with the surge of life comes the relentless drama of survival. A herd of wildebeest moves cautiously through the tall, wet grass, eyes darting at every shadow, ears twitching with the rhythm of the wind. Suddenly, a roar cuts through the air. A pride of lions emerges from the undergrowth, bodies tense like springs, muscles rippling with predatory power. The chase begins. Hooves strike the soaked ground, mud splashing in arcs. The wildebeest turn and zigzag, bodies gleaming in bursts of instinctive agility, but the lionesses are relentless, their eyes fixed on the target. Elsewhere, hyenas wait at the periphery, opportunists of the savanna. They slip between puddles, low to the ground, watching the chaos unfold. Their strategy is patience and cunning. Allow exhaustion to thin the herd, then strike. When a wounded or lagging animal stumbles, they close in with growls and snapping jaws. Scavenging is survival, but survival demands cunning, and even these infamous predators adhere to the subtle hierarchies of the plains. Along the riverbanks, the drama takes another form. Crocodiles lurk beneath the swollen currents, eyes barely above the water, tails coiling like snakes in anticipation. Wildebeest and zebras approach the water cautiously, nostrils flared, hooves brushing the slippery edge. In an instant, a massive jaw bursts from the river, teeth clamping around a limb. The water churns violently, creating a spectacle of desperation and power. Some escape, trembling and drenched, while others are dragged beneath the surface, claimed by the river's patient killer. Slow-motion sequences capture the intensity of each confrontation. A lioness leaping onto a wildebeest, mud clinging to her coat, a hyena closing its jaws mid-run, the crocodile's tail lashing water into the sky. Every detail, the flared nostrils of the prey, the coiled spring of the predator, the tremor of the earth beneath pounding hooves, speaks of the primitive rhythm of the savanna. Survival is measured in seconds, instincts honed by generations of trial and error. Yet for every chase, for every attack, there is a lesson in vigilance and adaptation. Herbivores learn predator patterns, alter their routes, and coordinate movements within the herd. Predators refine their strategies, studying weaknesses, testing reactions, and waiting for the precise moment to act. In this wet and vibrant landscape, every encounter strengthens the instincts necessary for life to continue. But the drama of immediate survival is only one layer of the savanna's complexity. As the rains continue, the energy restored by grazing and drinking allows animals to engage in another essential rhythm of life: daily routines, social bonds, and mating behaviors. Mothers care for their young, rivals engage in playful confrontations, and the pulse of life begins to weave patterns of growth, reproduction, and coexistence. The chase fades momentarily into the steady heartbeat of the plains, as life, for now, returns to its enduring and timeless cadence. With the rains comes a chorus from the skies. Migratory birds return from distant lands, their wings slicing through the humid air as they navigate the transformed savanna. Flocks of flamingos paint the wetlands in shades of pink, wading gracefully through shallow waters, beaks filtering brine and algae. Storks glide over flooded plains, searching for fish and frogs displaced by rising waters, while herons perch elegantly among newly sprouted reeds, their long necks curving in precise arcs to strike at small aquatic prey. Hornbills call from treetops, their resonant voices echoing across the plains, asserting territories and signaling readiness for courtship. Courtship unfolds in vivid displays. Flamingos turn and bow, wings extended in synchrony, stomping the mud in rhythmic patterns that mesmerize both rivals and potential mates. Storks perform elaborate aerial dances, rising and spinning in moist currents, talons barely touching as if to impress observers with precision and grace. Hornbills perform more subtle rituals, bill clattering, head tilts, and careful nest inspections, ensuring that only the fittest find partners and successfully raise chicks. Nest building accelerates with the abundance of rain. Birds weave grasses, reeds, and branches into elevated platforms, safe from waters and predators. Within these fragile constructions, eggs rest, warmed by parental vigilance. Herons carefully feed their chicks, transferring insects and small fish directly into tiny, open mouths, while young hornbills chirp and flap their wings, testing limbs that will one day lift them above floods and predators. Every movement, every chirp, is a testament to resilience. life advancing in response to the gifts of the season. Territorial disputes are no less dramatic than hunts on land. Starlings launch into coordinated skirmishes, chasing rivals over reflective puddles. Herons raise their wings in silent intimidation, towering over intruders, while the piercing calls of hornbills echo as warnings to all within earshot. The rains amplify these encounters, adding urgency to every chase and confrontation. For survival now depends not only on food, but on securing space for the next generation. Every wing beat, every dive for prey, every carefully constructed nest demonstrates how intimately life on the plains is tied to the rhythms of the rains. Birds do not exist in isolation. Their activity affects and is affected by the land, the water, and the creatures below. Fish and frogs scatter when wading birds strike, insects rise in swarms to evade wings, and even the movements of small mammals shift to avoid predation. The aerial world, alive and exuberant, begins to direct our attention downward. Insects buzz over puddles, frogs croak from flooded cavities, and the smallest creatures take advantage of the moment of abundance created by the rain and bird activity. The savanna is no longer a single layer of life, but a complex web, each level responding to water, vegetation, and the growing pulse of survival. From sky to ground, the rains have awakened a network of life, vibrant and intricate, ready to thrive across the plains. The rains awaken a hidden world, one often overlooked yet teeming with life. Insects, frogs, and small reptiles. Across the damp savanna, the air vibrates with movement and sound. Grasshoppers leap from leaf to leaf, their green bodies nearly invisible against new shoots, while butterflies drift in kaleidoscopic flutters, their wings catching raindrops like scattered jewels. Bees hum as they move from flower to flower, collecting nectar from blossoms that emerge overnight, each pollination a small miracle sustaining the ecosystem. In shallow pools, frogs emerge from their hidden burrows. Their skin glistens with moisture, their voices rise in a jubilant chorus, filling the air with a symphony of croaks, trills, and calls. Tadpoles swim in flooded cavities, their delicate tails propelling them through murky waters as they begin the slow and miraculous journey to adulthood. These amphibians are both predators and prey, consuming insects that might otherwise overwhelm the plains while providing food for birds, snakes, and larger mammals. Small reptiles also take advantage of the abundance. Chameleons glide along glistening branches, their tongues darting at unsuspecting insects, while geckos move across damp leaves in search of tiny prey. Even skinks and small snakes appear, slipping through mud and undergrowth, each movement deliberate, purposeful, a silent testament to survival and adaptation. The rains create an orchestra of movement, wings beating, legs leaping, jaws snapping, and tongues striking, a constant and energetic rhythm that sustains life on the plains. Each insect, frog, and reptile plays a vital role in the savanna's food web. Grasshoppers and locusts feed on growing grasses, butterflies pollinate flowers, and frogs control insect populations. Birds dive to capture flying insects, snakes hunt amphibians, and small mammals feed on the remains left behind. This intricate dance of life illustrates a fundamental truth. Survival depends on balance, and every creature, no matter how small, contributes to the cycle of the rainy season. The imagery captures this with intimate detail: a bee landing on a rain-kissed flower, a frog flicking its tongue at an insect that ventures too close, a chameleon shifting tone as it stalks its prey. Time-lapse sequences show clouds of insects rising in sudden swarms, a living, undulating carpet that sustains countless other creatures. The camera follows a butterfly as it flutters over a flooded cavity, its reflection mirrored in water filled with tadpoles, reminding viewers that abundance is everywhere, from air to ground. The pulse of life created by insects and amphibians begins to extend even further into new ponds and streams. Their presence attracts fish, small crustaceans, and aquatic predators, each feeding on the abundance provided by the rain. The rains do not only saturate the land, they connect it, weaving insects, amphibians, and aquatic life into a continuous network of energy and survival. From the buzzing of bees to the chorus of frogs, the savanna vibrates with vitality, a subtle yet critical prelude to the aquatic world beneath the waters. Life, nourished and multiplied, now flows downward into streams, ponds and rivers, overflowing with fish and other water-dependent species. The rains have transformed the savanna into a network of life in motion. Rivers swell and streams wind through the plains, while temporary ponds shine beneath the sun, overflowing with the promise of sustenance. Beneath the surface, a hidden world stirs. Catfish patrol the muddy depths, their barbels detecting every vibration, exploring the flooded terrain in search of food. Tilapias move in coordinated schools, weaving among submerged plants, their silver scales gleaming like living mirrors as they feed on algae and plankton. Water snakes glide through the currents with sinuous precision, hunting amphibians or small fish, their movements elegant and deadly at once. Hippos, the great architects of the aquatic savanna, dominate the pools with effortless authority. They wallow, nostrils breaking the surface, eyes scanning for intruders. When they submerge, only ripples betray their immense presence beneath the water. Calves swim beside their mothers, hesitant at first, then gaining confidence in their aquatic playground. The interactions of the hippos, pushing, rubbing, or chasing one another, remind all who observe them that even these gentle giants possess both playfulness and power. Spawning activity flourishes in these newly formed waters. Fish seek shallow and sheltered areas to lay eggs, while small invertebrates emerge to feed on plankton and decaying plant matter. Predator and prey engage in a delicate dance beneath the surface. Tilapias cautiously nibble at vegetation, trembling at the shadows of lurking catfish. Water snakes strike with lightning precision, capturing tadpoles or small fish before retreating into shaded vegetation. Every movement, every strike, is a balance of survival, perfected by evolutionary instinct. The water is alive with movement. Small crustaceans glimmer in the currents, while insects, displaced by the rain, fall onto the water's surface, providing unexpected feasts. Frogs leap into the pools from the edges, their calls creating ripples that spread through the ecosystem. Birds gather along the banks, dipping their beaks into the water to catch fish or snatch frogs. The interaction between aquatic and terrestrial life illustrates the interconnectedness of this seasonal rebirth. What flourishes below sustains life above. The rivers, swollen by relentless rains, become both lifeline and trial for the migrating herds. Wildebeests, zebras, and antelopes approach the banks with cautious eyes, tense muscles, and flared nostrils. The water ripples, concealing dangers lurking below. Crocodiles, enormous and patient, remain just beneath the surface, eyes barely breaking the current, tails coiled for sudden attacks. Every step into the river is a test of courage and instinct, every crossing a gamble where survival is measured in seconds. Slow-motion sequences capture the absolute intensity of these moments. A wildebeest lunges into the torrent, hooves skimming slippery rocks, water splashing in arcs. A crocodile strikes, clamping its powerful jaws around a struggling limb. Mud and water fill the frame, as prey and predator struggle, muscles straining, eyes wide with the raw pulse of life and death. Others leap, swim, and are swept downstream, forming a living and chaotic torrent rushing toward the opposite bank. The banks themselves are treacherous. Slippery slopes coated in mud cause some animals to slide backward, claws digging in for traction, tails whipping to maintain balance. The herds push forward, bodies brushing and colliding as instinct drives individuals to keep moving. Mothers push their young, adults block stragglers, and in the confusion, the bonds of survival are revealed. Every member of the herd depends not only on its own strength, but on the collective momentum and vigilance of the group. The rains have not only revitalized the plains, they have also given rise to new life. Across the savanna, mothers strain beneath the shelter of acacia trees or amid vast herds, their bodies tense, muscles exerting themselves as they bring the next generation into the world. Births are delicate, raw, and miraculous. Wildebeest and zebra calves tremble on wet legs for the first time, eyes open and exploratory, noses quivering at scents, both familiar and unknown. Foals stretch and stagger beside their mothers, while impala and gazelle young curl close within the protective folds of the adults, each new life an emblem of hope and continuity. Time-lapse sequences reveal the rapid pace of growth. Calves that wobble in the morning run beside adults by dusk, legs gaining strength, coordination sharpening, instincts refining with every stride. Vulnerability begins to transform into resilience, guided both by maternal care and the rhythms of the environment. The rainy season is a time of renewal, not only for the land, but for every living creature that depends upon it. The rainy season has awakened more than the plains. It has sharpened the instincts of the apex predators, rulers of the savanna. Lions, leopards, cheetahs, and hyenas emerge from hidden cover, muscles tense and senses sharpened, their movements measured, yet infused with latent energy. Every patrol, every crouch, every flick of the tail is a calculated gesture in a world where survival is never guaranteed. From the stealth of leopards to the coordinated power of lions and hyenas, from the speed of cheetahs to the patience of raptors waiting above, the savanna vibrates with the intricate dance of predation. Life and death intertwine at every level, setting the stage for a new perspective. The aerial hunters that rule the skies above the reborn and rain-soaked plains. As the rains continue transforming the land, these birds of prey integrate seamlessly into the broader ecosystem. Their dives, swoops, and scavenging form a vital thread in the web of life, connecting air, land, and water. From the thunder of hooves across the plains to the subtle movements beneath the grass, every layer of the savanna is intertwined. The African savanna is a tapestry of life, where every species, large or small, navigates a world of opportunity, competition, and alliance. As the rains transform the land, interactions between species become more visible, revealing the delicate balance that sustains the ecosystem. In these wet and vibrant months, cooperation and conflict coexist side by side, each shaping the survival of the other. Interactions between predators and prey extend throughout this web. A solitary impala senses the gaze of a distant lion and alerts the herd with a warning snort. Zebras shift position, wildebeests adjust their pace, and even the birds respond, descending closer to the disturbance. Every species interprets the signals of another, adapting its behavior to maximize survival. Hyenas emerge first, their laughter and deep growls echoing across the plains. Muscles tense, ears turning at the slightest whisper. They prowl in small, coordinated groups. Their hunt depends on patience, communication, and relentless persistence. Slow-motion sequences capture the charge of a hyena as it ambushes a small antelope, jaws closing with precision, claws gripping the wet earth. Though nocturnal, they remain connected to the broader rhythms of the savanna, synchronizing their hunts to avoid the more dominant lions and exploit the more vulnerable. Silence and subtlety define survival, while prey species, small antelopes, hares, and rodents move cautiously, perceiving danger through vibrations and sounds. Waterholes glisten under the moon, reflecting the occasional gleam of a stalking predator's eyes or the delicate forms of nocturnal herbivores grazing. Communication is quieter, movements more calculated. In the darkness, every sense is heightened, every decision is critical. The rainy season intensifies this nocturnal theatre. Abundant water attracts prey, dense vegetation provides cover, and insects multiply, feeding both hunters and scavengers. The interaction between predator and prey continues under the stars, a reflection of the struggles of the day, but uniquely adapted to the night. From the stealth of leopards to the coordination of hyenas, from silent owls to swift bats, the Savanna night is alive, a world of survival in the shadows. As dawn approaches, these creatures retreat, and the plains prepare once more for the rhythms of daylight. The dance of the night fades, leaving behind the memory of a world where darkness is not absence but intensified life, waiting to give way to another day of abundance, fueled by the rain. The rains are not only a sign of life for the creatures of the savanna, they are a catalyst for the land itself. Grasses, once fragile and sun-scorched, burst into a deep green, stretching toward the sky with rapid determination. Flowers bloom in scattered bursts, painting the plains with flashes of yellow, red, and violet. Trees, which remained dormant during the dry months, send new shoots skyward, their leaves gleaming with water, their branches bending under the weight of new life. Time-lapse sequences reveal the astonishing pace of growth. A single blade of grass pierces the softened earth, bending with wind and rain, while insects flutter to pollinate, transferring life from one flower to another. Butterflies, bees, and beetles gather in a delicate choreography, ensuring reproduction, feeding not only themselves, but sustaining countless other species. Each flower, each leaf, is a testament to the invisible alchemy of the rainy season. Water, sun, and soil, working together to renew the land. The soil itself transforms under the rains. Moisture penetrates deep layers, activating dormant seeds, reactivating nutrient cycles, and allowing roots to establish. Termites and earthworms aerate and enrich the soil, their movements distributing organic matter and turning decomposition into fertility. Nutrients carried from distant waters, deposited by floods or runoff, enrich the plains, creating a foundation that will support herds of herbivores and the predators that follow them. Every drop of rain contributes to a network of growth that is both immediate and lasting. Flowering plants act as beacons of life. Birds return to nectar-rich blossoms, insects gather in a frenzy of feeding, and small mammals forage among petals and stems. The explosive growth of vegetation also creates shelters, hiding places, and movement corridors, allowing vulnerable species young of various animals to navigate the plains with relative safety. Predators also adjust their hunting strategies as grass height increases, stalking through the rolling green as if the land itself becomes a participant in the cycle of life and death. Trees and shrubs, newly covered in leaves and laden with flowers, form temporary canopies, cooling the ground below and providing microhabitats for lizards, birds, and insects. Seed pods, which mature in a matter of days, promise the next generation of forest and savanna, while vines and climbers ascend towards sunlight, filling spaces and weaving life into the vertical landscape. Streams and temporary ponds reflect the sky, mirroring the growth above, while nourishing amphibians, fish, and the insects that complete the nutrient cycle. The gift of the rainy season is abundance, but it is also balance. Rapid growth feeds herbivores, which in turn feed predators, while fallen leaves and decomposing matter sustain detritivores and enrich the soil. The plains, rejuvenated by water, pulse with vitality, a symphony of life at all scales, from the smallest pollinating bee to the towering acacia, each movement contributing to the uninterrupted flow of ecological energy. 14. As the savanna flourishes, every creature and plant responds. feeding, sheltering, reproducing. The rains drive growth not only in the land but in the web of life it sustains, a vivid reminder that the pulse of the African plains is dictated by water, light, and the unstoppable rhythm of renewal. The rains, while life-giving, also bring danger. Flooded plains swallow familiar paths, transforming the savanna into a maze of mud, fast currents, and unpredictable pools. Animals move carefully, their hooves sinking into saturated ground, their tails swaying to maintain balance. Even the most experienced herbivores must navigate these shifting landscapes with vigilance, relearning which ground will hold and which will give way under invading water. Predators exploit these challenges with patient precision. Crocodiles patrol swollen rivers, their eyes barely visible above the water, waiting for careless crossings. Lions and leopards move along the edges of ever taller grass, watching for young or weakened herbivores trapped in mud or slowed by waterlogged terrain. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, surround stranded prey, their low growls resonating in the humid air, signaling both hunger and calculated strategy. Survival is never guaranteed. It is earned with every careful step, every quick decision, every instinctive movement. Flooding also reshapes the landscape, sweeping away food sources or forcing herds into unfamiliar territories. Animals must learn new water holes, graze on newly accessible grass, and adapt to unpredictable paths. Migration routes that once guided generations can become treacherous, driving improvisation and remarkable displays of endurance. Young remain close to their mothers, quickly learning that the environment, though abundant, is relentless in its demands. Even humans leave their mark. The encroachment on the plains, roads cutting through traditional routes, and agriculture near wetlands introduce subtle but significant threats. Noise, movement, and barriers challenge instincts honed over millennia, forcing animals to adjust their vigilance and timing. Yet the savanna endures, its creatures demonstrating resilience that mirrors that of the land itself, flexible, adaptable, and unyielding in the face of disturbance. Within these seasonal hardships, stories of cooperation emerge. Herds of different species find safety in numbers, zebras moving alongside wildebeest, young protected by the watchful gaze of elders. Birds follow the movements of herbivores, feeding on insects stirred up by hooves, while small mammals take advantage of temporary shelters in vegetation transformed by rain. Even in adversity, the savanna thrives, each challenge reinforcing the interconnectedness of its inhabitants. Time-lapse sequences reveal the shifting fortunes of the wet season. Rivers rise and fall, herds advance and retreat, predators stalk and feed. Life adapts in real time, balancing risk and reward. The rains, though harsh, catalyze both growth and opportunity, demanding resilience, cooperation, and instinctive precision from every creature that calls the savanna home. Through floods, predators, and human interference, the African plains continue their eternal rhythm. Life bends, adapts, and perseveres, a testament to resilience. For every obstacle the season imposes, there is a response, a leap, a sprint, a cautious pause, or a strategic retreat. The savanna, soaked and vibrant, is both a stage of beauty and a crucible of survival, reminding us that abundance and hardship are inseparable partners in the cycle of life. African rains do more than nourish the land. They orchestrate the next generation of life. Across the savanna, reproduction accelerates, synchronized with the abundance the wet season brings. Mothers give birth in hidden thickets, and young are born into a world filled with water, food, and opportunity. Each life is a continuation of countless cycles, a living testament to resilience and adaptation refined over millennia. Juveniles emerge, hesitant yet instinctively aware. Wildebeest calves wobble on thin legs, ears twitching at every sound, eyes wide with curiosity. Zebra foals mimic maternal movements, learning patterns of grazing, escape, and vigilance. Young impalas and gazelles leap and bound through rain-soaked grass, their playful energy a training ground for the agility and endurance they will need to survive. Play is more than recreation. It is preparation, a rehearsal for the harsh lessons of life in evading predators, coordination, and social interaction. Family units maintain order and safety. Mothers, siblings, and even older young act as guides and protectors. Cubs watch adults as lions stretch and play, learning the rhythm of hunting, communication, and social hierarchy. Elephant calves study the movements of matriarchs, imitating how to manipulate foliage, use their trunks, and move across terrain. The young absorb wisdom not through instruction but through observation, experimentation, and gentle guidance, each action reinforcing survival knowledge that will persist long after their elders are gone. Learning behaviors extend beyond mere survival. Herds develop collective strategies. Young animals follow elders through difficult terrain, imitate alert postures when predators approach, and adapt feeding patterns to maximize nutrition. There are even lessons between species. Birds and small mammals observe large herbivores, finding safety in proximity, scavenging opportunities, or following signals about water sources and shelter. The ecosystem itself becomes a classroom, rich with living examples of cooperation, caution, and instinctive intelligence. Time-lapse sequences and close-ups reveal rapid growth. Young that stumble in the morning run alongside adults by evening. Foals leap through puddles with the confidence of experience. Juveniles test boundaries yet remain within protective circles. Each day brings new skills, greater awareness, and the subtle integration of lessons passed through generations. Reproduction, growth, and learning underscore the continuity of the savanna. Each birth contributes to population stability, each lesson learned increases chances of survival, and each young animal is both a promise and a responsibility. Predators also adapt to these cycles, exploiting inexperience but shaping behavior in response, reinforcing the balance of life and death that defines this wet season. In the rhythm of the rain, the African savanna ensures continuity. Life flows in circles of birth, growth, learning, and survival. From playful juveniles to wise elders, each organism contributes to the memory of the ecosystem, shaping behaviors and relationships that echo across generations. The wet season is a living classroom, where the wisdom of the land and its inhabitants is as tangible as the grass beneath their feet, a reminder that life here is perpetual, interconnected, and beautifully resilient. The rains have passed, leaving the African savanna renewed and vibrant. From above, the land stretches in endless green, dotted with glistening rivers, shining wetlands, and golden patches of wildflowers swaying in the breeze. Herds move across the plains with measured grace, zebras, wildebeest, and antelopes flowing like living currents, each step a testament to survival, adaptation, and the relentless pulse of life. Waterholes reflect the sky with perfect symmetry, while hippos wallow lazily, their breaths sending gentle ripples across the surface. Birds take flight in coordinated bursts, storks, herons, and hornbills, tracing intricate patterns as they hunt, feed, and rise above thriving trees. Acacias stand firm, their rain-polished leaves providing shelter to countless creatures. Even predators, satisfied and sated, patrol with quiet dignity, their power softened by the abundance surrounding them. Time-lapse sequences reveal the rhythm of recovery. Grasses emerging from soaked earth, flowers blooming in rapid succession, and streams winding across the plains. Young leap, run, and learn, while matriarch elephants guide their families along paths defined by memory and instinct. Insects gather, pollinate, and feed, contributing to a complex web of life revived by the simple yet profound gift of water. This is a land of cycles, each moment linked to the last, a rhythm of birth, growth, struggle, and renewal. Predators and prey coexist in delicate balance. Herbivores feed while predators hunt, and scavengers complete the circle of life. Every action, every movement, every interaction reinforces the interconnectedness that sustains the savanna. The rains are more than weather. They are the pulse that drives life itself, connecting soil, water, plant, and animal in a harmonious and ever-changing tapestry. Aerial panoramas emphasize the scale, herds stretching to the horizon, rivers curving gracefully, dense forests teeming with life. Sunlight glints off water, dust, and fur, highlighting textures and motion, reminding the viewer of the raw beauty and resilience of the savanna. The scene is both tranquil and dynamic, quiet in its reflection, yet vibrant with activity, a celebration of life restored and renewed. As the camera sweeps across the landscape, the majesty of African nature becomes undeniable. Life, ever adaptable, moves forward with strength. The rains have restored not only water and vegetation, but also the intricate symphony of interactions that defines this ecosystem. The plains breathe vitality, a living testament to the cyclical nature of existence, where abundance follows adversity, and survival is both individual and collective. In this moment, the African savanna is complete. Rivers shine, herds thrive, birds soar, and predators rest in the balance they helped create. The land tells a story of rebirth, resilience, and the timeless rhythm of life, a story of nature's triumph, painted in color, movement, and sound. From this restored paradise, the narrative shifts. While the rains renew, human influence remains. Roads, fences, and settlements touch the edges of the plains, and conservation efforts seek to preserve the fragile harmony that water, life, and instinct have struggled to maintain. Nature's triumph is undeniable, but it exists alongside humanity's responsibility to protect it. The African savanna, radiant after the rains, is not untouched by human hands. Although the plains teem with life and cycles of survival continue uninterrupted, human presence is undeniable, sometimes as guardian, sometimes as threat. Conservation efforts have created refuges, where species once on the brink of extinction can thrive. Protected reserves stretch across vast expanses of land, patrolled by vigilant rangers who monitor wildlife, prevent poaching, and maintain the delicate balance between predator and prey. Cameras capture elephants and rhinoceroses roaming freely, zebras grazing undisturbed, and lion prides reclaiming territories once reduced by human expansion. These achievements prove that coexistence is possible when care and science guide our interventions. Ecotourism, when responsibly managed, brings awareness, funding, and appreciation for this living tapestry. Visitors witness the splendor of migration, the drama of predator-prey interactions, and the subtleties of interspecies relationships, fostering respect and responsibility. Local communities benefit, finding livelihoods in guiding, hospitality, and conservation projects that connect economic need with ecological responsibility. However, threats remain evident. Poaching continues to affect elephants, rhinoceroses, and other iconic species, driven by illegal trade. Roads and fences fragment habitats, disrupting migration routes and isolating herds. Small settlements expand into traditional grazing lands, and climate change intensifies the challenges of an already volatile ecosystem. Droughts, irregular rains, and shifts in vegetation patterns place pressure on both wildlife and human communities. Animals adapt, but adaptation has limits. Herds may struggle to find water, predators may be forced into closer contact with humans, and the rhythm of the savanna becomes fragile in places where human activity dominates. The responsibility to act is urgent not only for the survival of individual species, but for the integrity of the ecosystem as a whole. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you want more about wildlife, Don't forget to visit the channel